Bridget. This is Brendan Crighton, the state senator.
Good. How are you today?
I'm good. Sorry for the rescheduling, and I'm calling you late now.
Oh, no, you are totally fine. I understand you're super busy, and I totally appreciate for you taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help.
Sure, and I'm also here with Owen today. We're working on this assignment together, and we just have a couple of quick questions for you. We won't keep you too long.
Yep, sounds good.
Sure. So we noticed that originally, we wanted to ask you about the passing of this bill before it ended up on the ballot and your involvement with that.
Yeah, so I've been at the State House now 17 years. I was a staffer, then worked as state rep and then state senator, and the bill has been around for at least that long. I think closer to 20 years. So I had a chance. My old boss, my predecessor actually, had been the chairman of transportation. This bill was before the committee, so working for him, I got pretty in-depth knowledge at that point. And then when I became state senator myself, it's something I was passionate about, so I filed the legislation and began working with Rep. Farley Bouvier and Rep. Christine Barber, as well as a coalition of stakeholders to help advance it over the last 4 years at this point.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just the general background. I'm happy to dive into more detail if you have specific questions.
Cool, sure. And then, I was going to ask you, how did you feel when this question ended up on the ballot this season?
I mean, it was frustrating in the sense that after 20 years of work, thoughtful deliberation, compromise, collaboration, all the things that folks want to be put into any law, was in jeopardy. Pretty shortly after we had passed it with an overwhelming majority in the House and Senate. So, at the time, certainly felt anxious. We only had a few months to pull together a campaign. It's not ideal for lawmaking when, again, there's no real ability for compromise or amendments, and this had already gone through the proper process. It already had countless public hearings. It's already been debated. So, unfortunately, it becomes a political campaign, which, is hard to manage. Certainly we're concerned, but we did have faith that overall we would be able to preserve the law.
Yeah, and then, so why do you feel that this law is so important, and how do you think that the greater Boston community and Massachusetts will be affected by the passing of this law?
I mean, I think we're going to see safer roads for everybody. So you have, again, one set of rules for all drivers, where folks are passing a road test, passing vision test, getting insurance, paying into the system. It makes sense. Driving your ability to drive a car has nothing to do with your citizenship. Already in Massachusetts, there are many non-citizens that are able to drive. There's really no logical reason or practical reason for us to deny it to someone based on their immigration status. So I think it will, create safer roads, but also improve economic mobility for so many folks and just overall the quality of life. In Massachusetts in particular, in Massachusetts just generally, we don't have a public transportation system that's reliable or frequent enough. Over 75% of Massachusetts residents drive at some point to get where they need to go.
Yeah.
And certainly that's in greater Boston, never mind out in parts of central and western Massachusetts where there just isn't any other option other than driving.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really a common sense bill. And I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question? I don't know if I answered that.
Oh no, I was just asking you why you think it's important for the community, but I think that kind of answers the overarching general theme there.
Great.
Yeah. And are you surprised that the public voted in favor of this law? Did the public vote how you expected them to?
I'm not surprised they voted in favor. I think if we had more time to get the facts out there, problem with any political campaign is that misinformation can also drive people to vote, and oftentimes in a way that's against their interests. So you had the opposition saying untrue things about voter registration. That seemed to be one of the biggest issues when I talked to voters. They would say, no, this bill would let them, they misunderstood and thought that this law had anything to do with their ability to vote. which it doesn't at all. So
Yeah, and actually, to go off of that, ironically enough, we were covering this a couple weeks ago, and this is our follow-up story, and we did encounter a couple of people that were opposed to it because they thought that they would be able to vote, and we had to explain to them, no, they would get a special license that would
well, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, so I 100% understand where you're coming from, because we did handle some of that misinformation when we were interviewing the public.
Yeah.
But so yeah, to go more off of that, how do you feel misinformation impacted, this law and the whole campaign against it?
Yeah, I think if we had an opportunity to talk to every voter, I think we would have won by a much bigger margin. That being said, the law has been preserved. We're very appreciative of all the people that, had conversations with neighbors and friends, that went out and knocked doors, that really got the word out there about what the law does and what it doesn't do. So, at the end of the day, it's a great thing for Massachusetts. We're going to be the 17th state to have implemented this come July 1st. So it's a big deal. It's a significant bill that's going to impact the lives of all residents in a positive way.
Yeah, of course. And then I got one last question for you. One of the issues surrounding this question was a lot of people were debating whether or not, I know the DMV would have to make some technical changes in order to make these licenses available for immigrants. So how do you think that the DMV will be able to handle these changes when the law is going to get passed in July of 2023? And do you think that they can handle these changes?
Yeah, so I mean, we gave the RMV a full year, so that was, we adjusted our language, so we passed it in June. We gave them to July of 2023. So they've had more than adequate time to, draft regulations. They've actually submitted some. It's not rocket science. It's simple technical changes. I think we want to get folks, make sure they have adequate training and the resources they need to implement this. But 16 other states have already implemented it, and there have been no issues. There's no reason why Massachusetts RMV can't handle it.
Yeah, of course. And that's all of my questions for you. But is there anything else that you want to add on this issue, or anything you think I didn't touch on?
No, I think you covered it well. If you have any follow up, happy to talk. And again, I'm sorry for the delayed in connecting.
Oh, no, I totally understand. I know you're super busy, and I'm so glad you took the time to talk to me, because I think this is a super important issue to cover.
No, it really is.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Owen. Take care.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day.